All right. Tony Tunes episode number 7. Very excited about this. A lot of people were happy with the last episode where I talked about Phantom of the Opera. So I'm really feeling good about this one. Let's not waste any more time. Here is the wheel, and we're gonna shuffle everything. So as you can see, no chicanery. We are spinning the wheel. Here we go. Slowing down, slowing down. What are we going to get to? It's Big River. So, Big River. Um, that was a very low point in the Tony Awards and in Broadway in general. 39th annual Tony Awards. Very infamous for there were so few real roles, meaty roles to be considered that they didn't have many of the awards presented, especially leading actors in a musical, choreography. It was just, it was no good. The nominees that year for Best Musical were Big River, Grind, Leader of the Pack, and Quilters. Those are four musicals that you really don't hear talked about much anymore. I mean, maybe you hear about Big River, but that's about it. I mean, Big River did get a little over 1,000 performances on Broadway. So, yes, that was quite the year on Broadway, or rather, the infamous year on Broadway. So, we are going to um, do a little bit of listening, or rather, I'm going to be doing a little bit of listening. But in the meantime, why don't you listen to this? Look out for me, oh muddy water. Your mysteries are deep and wide. And I got a need for going someplace. And I got a need to climb upon your back and ride. You can look for me when you see me coming. I may be running, I don't know. I may be tired and running fever, but I'll be headed south to the mouth of the Ohio. Yeah. All right, we're back. Well, it was okay. It wasn't really anything that made me want to get up and dance or maybe want to listen to it again, but it wasn't really terrible. As I said, at the Tony Awards that year, it was very, very slim pickings. So it seems like Big River kind of sort of won by default. Basically, like, okay, you guys are the most like a musical that's nominated for Best Musical. So we're just going to give it to you, which is usually not a good thing. Um, Now, as for the cast itself, Huckleberry Finn was played by Daniel Jenkins. Jim was played by Ron Richardson. The Duke was played by Rene Auberjonois, which I was glad to see that name. He was a very talented individual. Bob Gunton played the king. Tom Sawyer, played by John Short. Mary Jane Wilkes was played by Patty Kohanoa. Um, and Pat Finn was played by John Goodman. Always great to hear John Goodman. You know, people are so used to seeing him in Roseanne and the Connors, but not a lot of people realize he's a very good singer. And he actually proved that with his big number, Government, um, going from drunkenly jovial to drunkenly berserk in the space of one song. Yeah, absolutely lovely. Um, Now, here's a small little sidebar. Um, it's always kind of weird when you have adults playing roles that are supposed to be kids, because it was my understanding that Huckleberry Finn and Tom Sawyer are pre-teens, like 12 or 13, but Daniel Jenkins was in his early 20s when he played this role. So it throws you off a little bit. But I would say that the four songs that really stood out for me were Government, Muddy Water, which is a duet by Jim and Huck, the big villain number, When the Sun Goes Down in the South, and yeah, that's about it, really. Just those three songs. Everything else was kind of just like, all right, yeah, this is a song that's here. Well, the reprise of Muddy Water at the end was very good, but yeah. Act two kind of left me going, okay, these songs aren't terrible, but it's not something that I would scramble to listen to again. Um, it's my understanding that the limited revival from 2003, was a lot better, but of course, I always listen to the original Broadway casts for these Tony listens. So this is the 1985 cast. Um, I know Ron Richardson won the Tony Award for Best Featured Actor in a Musical. In fact, pretty much all the nominees except for one were from Big River. So they were really scraping the barrel that year. Not to say that Ron Richardson, Renee Auberjonois, and Bob Gunton were bad performers, because they weren't. It's just, yeah, seems like there really wasn't much going on Broadway for that particular year. But it was a nice, interesting listen. A lot of bluegrass and country, and I always like to hear that sort of style in a musical. But this really kind of sort of left me with a big, eh, I would give it a, if there was such a thing, it's a thumb sideways. It's not bad, it's not good. Um, Something to remember that this was around the time in the 80s where all the mega musicals, all the very well received musicals, were coming from England. So Big River was kind of one of the only success stories in the 80s when it comes to Broadway, that originated in America. Um, Big River won 7 Tony Awards, but again, it kind of looked like, oh, you guys are the closest thing to a big time musical that happened this year, so yeah, I guess it's going to go to you. So, my assessment, Big River, not bad, but not really spectacular either. I would firmly put it right in the middle. Yeah. Well, that's my assessment, and I'm sticking to it. Till next time, so long, folks.